Next, you're going to pour your 1 pound of beans into your heavy sauce pot. After placing your pinto beans in the sauce pot, we are going to submerge them under water. So I'm going to teach you a fast soak method instead of having to soak your beans overnight. What we're going to do is we're going to bring the beans to a boil. After the beans have come to a boil, we're going to remove it from the heat and turn off the stove, and then put a lid on it and let it soak for 1 hour. After soaking for an hour, the beans should have doubled in size and be ready to cook. Then take the half that we're going to use and cut it in half again. And do the same to the yellow onion. So in all my research in making pinto beans, you want to use the same liquid that you use to soak the beans in because it gives it more flavor, and just add some more water into it so that way you can start cooking it. And then we'll go ahead and add in the onions that we cut. Next, we're going to add in some oregano. We're going to use a generous amount. And I also found that the reason why you want to add in dried oregano is because pinto beans have a natural sweetness to them. And by adding in dried oregano, it cuts that sweetness. Because the first time I ever made beans, they tasted like there was sugar in it, and it was gross. Next, we're going to add about 1/4 cup to 1/3 cup of salt. The reason why we want to be so generous is because beans will expand as they cook and they absorb salt. Later in the cooking, when the beans start to crack, you can taste it to see if you need to add more salt. Next, we're going to turn the stove up to a high heat to bring the beans back up to a boil. Once the beans come to a boil, we're going to lower the heat to about a medium-high heat and let the beans cook for an hour. After about an hour, you want to check the beans to see if they're soft to the bite. They should look like that. Now that our pinto beans are all ready to go and full of flavor, we're going to refry them. So you're going to need a saute pan. Next, we're going to heat up the saute pan on medium-high heat with the 1/2 cup of canola oil. After we have given the oil a chance to heat up, we're going to add in our pinto beans along with the onions and the juice. I like to add in everything, that way it's full of flavor. We're going to fill the pan about 3/4 of an inch from the top and let it simmer. Once we get it to a good simmer, we're going to use a hand brawn mixer to puree the beans to make it into refried. The brawn mixer gives it a smooth, creamy texture. We're going to puree it as it continues to simmer. After pureeing, continue to simmer on a high simmer to reduce some of the liquid to get it to the right consistency. Normally, when you're using the fresh batch of pinto beans that you just made, you won't have this problem too much because you'll have a lot of pinto beans. I did this demo a few days later, and so half of my batch was gone. As it's reducing, you're going to want to scrape the bottom of the pan and stir around and mix it well, so that way it doesn't scald or burn the bottom of the beans. And you just have to do this occasionally.